Oh wait, are we going on go? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to the Triforce Science Podcast. This is episode 20. We're gonna be talking all about the Challenger Series today, and what is the patch 12.1, right? I think is the patch.
12.1, yes. It's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
the new league patch, so that's how you can remember it.
Gotcha.
Oh.
I'm one of your hosts, SpicyAppies. I'm joined today by my co-host Jirachy
Hello.
and RamKev.
We counted from 4 today.
Yeah, and it didn't work very well as
Oh
we
my
found
god.
out. And we are joined today by the man, the myth, the legend, the one. I say that every time we have a guest, but
Oh,
the
darn.
person who won the Challenger Series this past weekend, Aesah. How's it going?
Yo, what's
Hands
up?
up.
Woo!
Hands up!
We're doing
So-
great. It's fine.
Yeah. I
So
thought that's what we were supposed to do on Go, but the Go
Yeah,
never
right?
came.
So as usual, we'll just talk about our weeks a little bit, and then we'll get into things. I had a good week playing the Challenger Series. I got second behind Aesah. It was a great tournament. A lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then kind of vibing. Great streams this week. I was on T-Fight Talk Show yesterday, which is really cool. Being in a call with Frodan and Doa, like from my sophomore year self, watching Doa and Monte Cristo casting like Korean League, I would just be shitting my pants. Thinking that I'd be like, oh my god.
Dude, I had the exact same fucking reaction when I was on talk show.
Yeah,
Like I was
it's
in
so
call
weird.
with Noah and I was like, holy shit, I literally listened to this man when I was growing up.
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
even talking to him wasn't even like in my wildest fucking dreams. And now now I'm just like, I might cast with this man now. Which
That's
is
insane.
wild.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so my week's been good. I've just been chilling, enjoying life, enjoying TFT. How's your week been, Joshy?
I'm stressed. School's starting again for me. I have some roommate drama that I'm probably need to move out of my apartment soon. It's fine.
Monka S. Also, I heard that
yeah.
as mermaid drama.
Mermaid? Huh.
But then I thought about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
What else? My roommate has COVID. My brother has COVID. Everyone
man.
has COVID. There's alarms going outside. I don't know if chat can hear. It's fine.
really?
Everything's fine, and I've barely played TFT. But watching Challenger Series was a ton of fun, and I've been having a lot of fun streaming this week because I've done like 2 games on stream the whole week, and the rest has just been an insane amount of VOD reviewing.
It's been
And
fun to watch.
It's so much fun to watch. It's been fun to watch the series from so far 4 different perspectives. Like just seeing what everyone is doing. And it's also good prep for me for any future casts I have coming up.
Oh.
I don't know if I can leak
Oh?
which ones yet. I know Frodan leaked he's casting Zaun Cup, so I'm just like, well, can I leak the stuff I'm
Leak.
mm,
We get a chant going.
There's approximately
People
50%
Riot.
chance I am casting Zaun Cup.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, casting Zaun Cup or I am not casting Zaun Cup.
Wow.
50-50.
Hey.
I am also casting Zaun Cup or not casting Zaun Cup.
What a coincidence. Me too.
Wow!
I'm not casting Zaun Cup. I'm gonna put that one.
Evan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just got back to my room, as you can tell from the camera and the posters and the bad lighting. But I started this fun thing to prevent myself from running it down, because I ran it down consecutively like 3 weeks in a row, and it was really bad. So I did the thing where every time I bought 4 on stream on my main account, I have to gift a sub. I haven't figured out how to gift myself subs yet because it's broken. I can't do it. But ever since then, I've given away $25 over the course of like 4 days.
Oh shit, you're top for like every game.
Just need the right motivation.
Hell yeah.
It's actually pretty common amongst like poker players to do like prop bets where it's like, oh, like if I don't play 100 hours this week or this month, I have to go do something embarrassing or whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
snap! Oh, the 100 hours is free though. That
Yeah,
I could play
poker
100
players
hours.
really Well, you also have to study too, so
Yeah.
Tough stuff. Tough stuff. How are you doing, Aesah?
Was sitting on rating before Challenger Series, so was nice to get back and playing ladder. And like right after Challenger Series, I like won my next 2 games. I was just like feeling invincible, and I promptly lost. Let me check, 300 something, 350 LP. So I'm working on getting that back because I want to be top 24 for Zaun Cup. And Pilter, where I had to play through like group stages, and those are a real slog. So
Yeah, I did too. That was
I'm not touching the main account again. I learned from last time and the time before that and the time before that.
yeah, I just want to get top 24 at sit.
Also, I'll shout out Aesah magically has a better webcam. We were literally doing VOD reviews earlier today with us, Bryce, and Ramblin'. And the first thing I said as soon as this man got in call was, use the money and buy yourself a better fucking webcam. And then his wife shows up with a better webcam. I'm like, oh, sick. Problem solved.
Yeah, I thought she used it for work meetings, but she uses her laptop webcam, which apparently is better than my laptop webcam for some reason.
Well, there you go.
Even though I have a gaming PC.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
So Aesah, if you just give us a quick rundown on like who you are, your history, with TFT, like how you got into it. I know you're a poker player as well. And if you want to get into that a little bit, just whenever you feel is pertinent.
Yeah, I would say like my entire life, starting like as long as I can remember, I've always been into competitive gaming. I think like the first game I got like really high rank with was Warcraft 3. I got number 1 in US East 2 vs 2 ladder. And then I was like rank 1 World of Warcraft multiple times, GM in Overwatch, and then but yeah, poker, of course. I got into that actually because of gaming. I was like, oh, I can play a game for a living. That's pretty cool. But I've been playing poker for about a decade. I took about a 2.5-year break in between to work at Riot on their playtest team for Summoner's Rift. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I played every season in TFT. Set 2, I got Challenger, but that was like kind of my goal to get Challenger, and then I didn't like really push more. Set 3 and 4, like Set 1, 3, and 4, like didn't play that much. I played some. And set 5, I came back and played a lot. Again, got Challenger. And set 6 was the only one I was like active right at the start. And I was like, okay, I really want to like go for. When I found out about the augments, I like played on PV. I was like, dude, this set is so fun. There's just like so many more possibilities. So I was like really into it. I was like really wanted to push like high ranks. Yeah.
Awesome. Hell yeah. So you're just like a god gamer all around. GMO, I think it's the most impressive part of that is that you're good at shooters as well. 'Cause I'll tell you, I have the APM and the like the aim of a toddler. It's like it's so hard to be good at multiple types of games like that. So that's super impressive.
You mentioned, I remember you mentioned in the Gangly interview hitting like GM in Overwatch or something. So it's not just strategy games. I'm like, okay, this man has actual mechanics. Oh god, be pushing.
Yeah, I like playing mechanics games. I like games like Celeste and just like mechanics games.
Good.
How do you feel about like TFT? Like, it's the notion as like a mechanical strategy game, or not so much the notion, but like the fact that there are underlying mechanics behind it.
I think
like
the mechanics are very minimal. Because even like when like chess players play like bullet chess, they actually have to like click on the squares pretty fast. And I would say that's, and like there are obviously some players who are better at it than other players, but you know, like even like these really old guys, like they can handle it just fine. Like they're not going to be the best, but I think TFT does not. I don't think it's fair to say it. I don't think. Yes, it requires some mechanics, but I wouldn't really say it requires mechanics. You know.
Thank God for that, because my hands. I think there can certainly be there certainly can be skill expression in mechanics. Like for example, Jirachy's play style, like their mechanics are such that like they can just outposition people in half time. Like Spencer as well, just insane mechanics. These like, big roll down, the same positioning. And then their players like I'm trying to think of who else has super boomer hands, but Sox and I just like
I'm trying to think like. So like the gap between being an average mechanical player to like a top 1% mechanical is not that much like LP relative to like other skills.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
You don't need good mechanics to get LP. It's just one of the ways you can. I think
it helps a little bit. Yeah. Last time I played against Spencer, I moved my carry to a completely random spot on the 3rd row, and then he Zephyred it with like 0.1 seconds left. I actually don't know how that's possible. Yeah,
Spencer has the best.
To me.
Spencer has the best mechanics in the server. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with me on that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's the you just hit him with a no mix up. That's the I tried to do that to because I did it at Setsuko the last game of my like Sin game in the Challenger Series. I was like, there's no way he doesn't move his Zephyr from where it is right now. But well, if I get into this a little bit later when the context of that game, but he did not move his Zephyr, and I just moved my Shaco to his fucking Zephyr, which was unfortunate.
Oh, that's the one that I saw. I saw that one. That's
yeah. It was a little unfortunate. There's actually one round as well where I'm playing the first game of the last day. I'm playing a mouse hard board, and I move my mouse hard so slowly. I'm like fake swapping, and I just leave him hanging out the left side of my board all alone with all my items, just vibing.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, happens to the best of us, and admittedly the worst of us. So, you know. So a couple things we can talk about today, and we can just go off whatever people want to talk about first. So, new patch hit last week. I think there's actually a new patch this coming week as well before the Zaun Cup. But so new patch, Challenger Series, Duos Tourneys coming up this weekend. Any place in particular you want to start?
I feel like the new patch is kind of a good place to start, but I would love to talk about it with like the context of tourney meta. Just because we are back in the thick of esports season, like tourney season. Like we
thank God.
We just had Challenger Series. We have Hextech Havoc this weekend. We have Zaun Cup right after. We have mid-set, I think 2 weeks after Zaun Cup. Like
looking forward to that.
It is one after the other. Like, oh my God. It's
such a good month for competitive TFT.
Yeah, I know. Like competitive is gonna be so hype. But like the new patch hit, and honestly, I feel like the patch is better. It's weird to say if the patch is better on live, but at least or on ladder. But in Challenger Series, like the tourney meta was so diverse. Like so much stuff was getting played, and like there was a lot of Urgot got pulled back out, but that's just from the Merc players.
I'm surprised there was that much Urgot, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I was.
There wasn't a lot of time to adapt. Like a lot of the players who played in Challenger Series, like myself included, we were just sitting on rating for like almost this entire patch.
Yeah,
so I think a lot of players like adapt, so they didn't get the time to like play Shaco and stuff like that, which clearly is like better than Urgot based on stats.
Mm-hmm. I was I was slamming games. Was it right after I was slamming games for a little bit, I think, after the patch hit. Maybe it was on my Smurf, but I remember I played a lot of Imperial to test the stuff out, and I played a lot of like a bunch of Shaco for like a day to test stuff out, and that was it. And then I was kind of
I wasn't paying attention, so did anybody in the tournament play Talon reroll?
Yes.
Solus did? How did
Solus got second with Talon.
It did okay.
I'm not gonna lie. That comp is disgusting.
Talon's good, yeah.
Until he gets enforced.
Once you hit Talon 3, yes, that comp is
nuts.
The
thing is, the best part about Talon is like it's even easier to dodge enforcers compared to Shaco because he has less base HP, I think.
Yeah.
So you can actually get around it pretty easily. And I actually think if you QS Talon, like
QS sounds so good.
I think QS Talon is best. I straight up think QS Talon.
Right?
Yeah.
QS RFC IE with like some dumb augment like Thrill. If you have Thrill with those items, it's over. It's a juicy comp.
Yeah, so we'll and there were a couple comps that came up with this patch, right? Because I think it wasn't very apparent in tournament meta. So with this patch, like some of the biggest things came up were 1 Talon, 2 Chalice stuff, which was not very. I don't think anyone played Chalice.
Chalice stuff barely got, at least in finals, it barely got played.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I think those same comps though are like always really popular. With just like Janna, Ori, Seraphine, Terra.
Yeah.
Like...
There was a decent amount of flexing around those units. I mean, a lot of carries work into that general board. Like you're basically running just like these 6 or 7 units plus a carry, whatever it is. Like you can run Yone, you can, if Ori Seraphine are your carries, you can drop Tarek for Scion. You can run Jin on that board. Like Appies was running Jin, what's his, like the Jin Fiora and Jace backline plus the whatever frontline and enchanters. It's just a super flexible board, and Chalice stacking is an option out of it. I'm surprised we didn't actively see like the Chalice stack into that board, but like those units were all getting a ton of playtime.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go like tactics.tools and just sort by like play rate, it's at the top. Yeah, all the enchanters. I mean, they're just really good.
It's I don't think I've had a patch where it's hard to 2-star so many units in this patch, because it's so hard to find like Braum 2, Janna 2 in particular. Ori 2 can be tough as well, but like if you roll down on 8 with like 60 gold and you're like, oh, I'm for sure hitting my Braum 2 here, I'm for sure hitting my Janna 2 here, you just donk roll for like 2 stages and you can't hit them. Like, oh man.
Yeah, I just got done streaming, and one of the games, I had a Braum 1, and the rest of my board was really strong, but I was losing rounds. I was like, oh, it's probably because of Braum. And like someone in chat was asking about it, and I scouted, and all 8 players had a Braum. Like
that's accurate. I'm pretty sure that unit is the most popular unit in the game right now, and it's not close.
I feel like it's Janna. I feel like Janna is like the.
They're both so good.
They're both.
Janna's just the glue, right? Because the thing is, she didn't get touched this patch, and Scrap. Like, not that she really. I don't think she really should, because it's like her powers and her synergies. Her synergies are just fucking cracked. Like it fills in so many gaps, especially if you're like playing stand, for example. And Scrap is just so powerful late game, because you get like 400 HP on every single unit on your board just for playing it.
And if you're playing Tom Kench, and everybody's playing Tom Kench, you're playing Tom Kench with Scrap.
Yeah.
Think about how much shielding that is when you get that one nut round, right? Like Tom Kench ends up killing the whole board, farms you 5 components. If that ever happens in the game, it's a top 1.
Yeah. There wasn't I feel like so TK going in this patch didn't get nerfed too hard, right? The damage reduction went from 40% to 30% on his ult.
He's still super good.
Super fake nerf, by the way.
Yeah, no, super fake nerf. I do feel like I didn't see him as much as I expected in the Challenger Series. Like he was in there I'm sure there was at least 1 TK almost every game, but like it wasn't really winning anything.
I don't think, for the most part, people weren't playing for like exclusively Kench, like from the get go, and a lot of people on ladder anyway are going to load in and just say, I am playing for Kench this game. I'm going to play econ traits. I'm going to 4-2 it. I'm going to find a Kench. I mean, this was the super prevalent playstyle last patch, but some people are still doing it this patch, but the econ traits just felt way weaker in the tournament, just because everyone's playing such stronger boards. If you are playing for econ traits every game, you're going to get hammered unless you actually like build a strong board. You can't open fort into 4-2 in tourney.
It's also because like the player, like just the overall skill's a lot higher, so like the boards are stronger, and it's like when you have that Kench like on ladder, if you hit a Kench like 4-2, you might just like farm infinite items against everyone you fight against, but you might be losing 15 HP in the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like it was really telling that this patch, the meta on ladder has been very similar to last patch, right? Because the game didn't change too much. Obviously, some things got tuned down, probably like Kaisa, Morales a little bit.
I think a lot more people were playing assassins, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to know what the secret tech though is? So they buffed makeshift. If anybody has noticed,
makeshift is nuts.
It's super
beyond
good.
Broken. So it's like,
good.
If you
I actually thought makeshift was good before.
It was pretty good. But now, if you get innovators with makeshift, it's a free fast 8. It's actually so busted.
I feel like makeshift has almost like taken over handshakeage, as like you see it and you're like, okay, I know. Well, you have a couple. It's not an insta take, because if you have just a ton of frontline items, then you're like, well, I don't really get makeshift value. Like maybe there's some other options. But if you have an offensive item start and you get offered makeshift, that's an insta take.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, it lets you slam so many good items. Like, let's use. So I think it's really important in most boards right now to have 2 units in your backline that can do something, or two. Yeah, it doesn't have to be backline, but 2 units that can do damage or just like be very utility heavy. Like the Jin Ori, Fiora, Yone. You need 2 most of the time for fight consistency. And makeshift just lets you fully itemize 2 carries and still have a cracked front line, which is nuts. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so the meta has been in general pretty similar as far as people playing like econ traits. A lot of Yordle, a lot of Merc as usual. But I think it was telling about the tournament, just about a tournament atmosphere in general. In that, so Aesah and I were both very play best board, play heavy tempo, not really focus too much on the econ trades, and we both did really well. And Aesah was saying about how you will just lose a lot more HP. People are playing stronger boards just because they're better players. It was noticeable that if people were going for econ traits, you're getting hit for a ton of damage, a ton of damage over the course. It was just is interesting because it's very different, I think, from the ladder meta how it feels.
I think just overall, playing for Mercs, playing for Yordles, it's just in tourney, it's just way riskier. Playing for anything besides strongest board just gets riskier, and I think it is telling that the top 2 finishers were the strongest board players, and in the lobby full of greedy players like Setsuko, Solus, Kyun, all are super greedy. Spencer can lean into that greed as well, and then I haven't gone over his VODs yet, but from the bits I've seen, he did kind of lean into that some. The greedier playstyle. I'm just curious what the fuck happened with Robin and Kurum, because both of them, Robin, he's not a strictly strongest board player, but Kurum is a pretty standard strictly strongest board all the time player, and I'm curious what happened with him that he went 7th. Actually, he went 6th.
But I know a ton of his experience, because I mean the amount of time we've all played hundreds of games, but the amount of time a human has to learn the set, you can't learn everything, and he's a lot of his specializations in the Urgot comp, which got nerfed pretty heavily before the tournament. So I wonder
also
if
it was getting contested super heavily too.
Oh yeah, because in the tournament, Setsuko, and Solus, they play Urgot so frequently, and it's just they naturally tend towards it, right? They have a Last Whisper and Runons and a Mundo, and they're all right, I'm playing Urgot. So
I also feel and Kurum has said this before, on stream, is he doesn't know how to play legendary carries, regardless of the set, the patch, the meta, he's not very comfortable with that playstyle, and I think Robin's sort of similar. I haven't seen Robin play too much this set, but he's more of a 4-cost carry type of player.
Yeah, me too. I think that's true for them.
And I think for them especially when a comp like Urgot gets nerfed, Yone also got nerfed in the patch, right? They decreased his amount of health, which did it doesn't do anything for him because the enforcer thresholds are still what they were before. He just has less health now. So I feel when those comps get nerfed, and there are people contesting them, it's a little bit difficult, because you can't they're not as comfortable playing around, for example, the 3 costs or the 5 costs, which I think are probably a little bit stronger right now than just playing Yone and Urgot every game, right? And that might have been sort of a factor potentially.
Yeah. And for me, I'm kind of wondering what happened day 2 specifically, because day 1 he was playing a decent amount around Yone, and that was working out pretty well. It might just have been my hunch is that was just different lobby. With twice as many players, he's not hitting Kyun, Solus, Setsuko, Spencer literally every lobby when you have all these Urgot players in your lobby that don't cut off that option, but definitely restrict your access to it. I wonder if that helped out and will let him loosen up and play a little more freely. Well, we'll see. I'm not coming to conclusions about how Kurum did yet. Or how Kurum played specifically.
Yeah, I haven't watched the VOD, so I can't say anything. Maybe he just low rolled really hard. Who knows? I can't say.
That's why I'm going over his VOD on streams.
I'm looking forward to talking about Setsuko's after this.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh well, self plug. Aesah and I immediately after podcast, I'm turning on stream and we're going over Setsuko's games. Because partially continuing the series of I'm VOD reviewing everyone in finals and want to like want a super informed opinion on everyone and also to learn something. But Setsuko is just one of the few top players that we don't know that much about, and like the ins and outs and how he plays, because we see him on ladder, we see him beasting ladder, but he never streams. He streams.
I see Setsuko in my game playing Mercs.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah,
also, him and Solas the
Every
Mercus for
single time.
Yeah. So I really want to see what makes Setsuko like actually tick, not just he's a Merc player.
Yeah. Oh, also
that's
plug
gonna be fun.
these Jirachy streams are awesome, and I'll be lurking in your chat. So
Yeah.
Agreed.
The streams have been fun. Like watching TFT is so much fun. Wild concept.
Watching
Yeah,
TFT
really-
is like playing TFT, but you don't have to think.
Yeah. You
It's
just get to
actually watching.
absorb.
It's playing TFT, but you're not stressed.
I'm not a TFT watcher. I have to admit, and that's more of a me thing, because here this is sort of like, even when I started playing TFT, you know what happens every time I like see a mistake on stream, I like feel uncomfortable and I close out of the stream. It happens every time I see a mistake on stream, and then I have to wait like 5 minutes and then jump back in and I'm like, okay. I'm ready now. The game has progressed.
All right, maybe you should only watch really low elo streamers, and that's what your expectation. Yeah, make mistakes.
I was with you with that. I had the very similar thing, Kevin. And then before the Piltover Cup, I knew you know, I always hear about Ramble and watching a ton of odds and being like a very learned player. You know, he just does a ton of studying. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buckle down. And I'm gonna watch 30 billion hours of TFT for this tournament. And by the end of it, I was like, oh shit, I actually like watching TFT now. Like, I definitely, if I see like I feel that if I see a bunch of mistakes and like I start to like squirm a little bit, but like, you know,
Yeah,
deep
like,
breath, and then like,
I'm
learning.
gross. I gotta go play TFT.
Yeah,
Every time
makes you want to play a lot.
Oh
for
god,
sure.
get me in the game, please.
But there's so much to be gotten like from everyone. You know, even if someone makes mistakes, I mean, everyone makes a lot of mistakes. Regardless of, because they perceived as mistakes as well, because some I can perceive them as a mistake that they don't perceive as a mistake, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a mistake just I perceive it as a mistake. But like there's so much to learn regardless of how many mistakes someone makes. Like they might do something just absolutely like amazingly, and you're like, oh, I can take that. Or like they play one unit and you're like, oh my god, that unit just carried the entire early game. Like as a Talon, oh my god! Like, imagine like you didn't know what Talon did and you watched a Talon on stage 2. You're like, oh my fucking god, it's a 1v10.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because Aesah and I, when we were VOD reviewing earlier, we were beating to death into him how good Talon is stage 2.
Oh, he's a monster.
I didn't put my item on Talon because I wanted to keep it. So
people always are like, why are you not putting AD items on Talon? And I was like, hello. You can.
I play Talon all the time. So
you can move your mouse over the unit and it tells you what their abilities do. Hello? And it's like, yeah.
He's just like
these chatters chatting.
He's so good. Like,
played on Talent. Come on.
Well, I think it's fine like or mid game. If you're rerolling Talon with AD, something wrong. Like you definitely put items on in mid game just to hold stuff because he's very effective. But that unit, oh god, I swear, the amount of times in this patch, like in tournament or not, that I was like, oh, I could play this super nice synergy, or I could play a Talon 1. This is always Talon 1. It's always Talon 1.
Also,
Talon got buffed this patch, by the way.
Yeah, he got buffed.
I don't know why that unit has always been so good. Like, if you're playing Merc,
Swain
for
2!
example,
Swain 2.
You put in a Talon, you're like, oh yeah, baby. There's like
it's literally metabolic accelerator. Plus 2 HP every round. Because you always kill a unit. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, so we can jump back and forth a little between the tournament and the patch. I do want to talk a little more about the patch. And we were talking about Yone not too long ago. I feel like there wasn't as much Yone in the tournament as I thought. There was definitely some Yone, but I think he is the probably single most broken force right now. If you have QSS on him, because he just fucking, it's disgusting what he does.
3-star QS Yone versus non-QS Yone is a very different story. Also 2-star, but we discussed straight to 3-star.
I know you like Yone Lux. There's a video that Teamfight
Yeah.
the official Twitter page posted where Ace talking about Yone carry, I'm talking about Vi carry, and you picked it as your favorite carry. I wonder your thoughts. What your thoughts on Yone are.
I just really like the unit. Like even in PvE, before I knew what like how good anything was, I was just like, this unit is cool. But yeah, I know like for a while people were building GA on him. I know a lot of people like to justify this logic by like, oh, GA was good this patch because XYZ. But I personally, I think QSS has always been much better, and people are just now starting to figure it out.
Mhm.
And yeah, I agree. I think
Especially after
QSS
the
is the
nerfs.
most important item on Yone. And then
Like,
Hurricane, Blast
with
Whisperer, but like it doesn't matter. It's like
yeah,
put good at damage items.
with the like GA nerfs from like 400 to 250, I feel like a lot of the, I feel like there are a few units that still appreciate it, but like a lot of them. So the ones that I think like are still okay are just like the ones where you want to keep on ulting while they're dead, right? And I feel like Yone doesn't actually always like, it doesn't really benefit him that much. Even if he's ulting while he's dead, he's gonna like kill a few things, come out, and then die instantly, right? Because he comes out with no health.
Yeah,
No, I
the
actually
thing is,
completely
go
agree.
ahead.
Yeah, because I think Yone, like people think, oh, he can ult while he's dead. That's good, but like if he's ulting, he's getting 70% lifesteal. He's not gonna die, and then like he's not gonna die.
The thing is, if you have QSS over GA, he doesn't fucking die. There's okay. The very last game of Challenger Series, there's a moment where so Asa's Yone with Yone 2 face tanks my Jace 2 Jin 2 and just kills my whole team with QSS. Like I can't CC him, and it just heals through all of it. It's actually QSS just like the best form of I mean, what did this say? The best form of CC is death. The best
Death is the best form of CC.
Yeah.
But also in that situation, the best form of not dying is just killing everything else. So,
Yeah.
it's so
because like
good.
it reminds me of like Jax a lot from last set.
Mhm.
And it's like people are like, oh, QSS is super important on Jax because he's in the front and he gets hit by literally every CC. And it's like, well, Yone is the same way.
Yeah, which really like Braum, Janna, people being so popular because Yone will get tossed by everyone. And sometimes he like with GA, he will just won't ult like halfway through the fight sometimes, and then like the whole mid game, like people are still pivoting out of Lysandras, and he just gets his AD reduced. Like there's just so much shit going around that stops him in his tracks. It feels like.
Yeah, Frozen Hearts started getting popular
Yeah.
since it got buffed too, and I mean you can item carry it with quite a lot of units. Like it's like best in slot Warwick as well.
Yeah, I would even go as far as say that I think GA is just a bad item on it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
QSS is just super underrated, I think, relative to how often I see it built in my games. Like it's really good on like Shaco as well, and just a lot of units.
One thing I kind of want to, yeah, it's true. One thing I want to talk about though, on the train of Yone items, what are your thoughts on RFC?
I think RFC is good.
Freshly buffed.
I wouldn't go out of my way to build it, but I'm not unhappy if I get dropped 2 bows and I slam it. I'm definitely not unhappy. I think it takes the spot of a defensive item, so ideally, if I have an RFC, I want 2 offensive items to go with it, like a Runon's Last Whisper.
Yeah, I think it's really good if you don't have like a a QSS. I think it's much better than GA. It's better than BT as well, in my opinion. The nice part about it is that you can just put him behind Fiora and you're guaranteed like an instant reset, essentially, which is really really nice. I built RFC Yone 1 game in the Challenger Series, and it just like it was doing so much fucking damage. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, so with the newly buffed RFC, I feel like whenever you put it on a unit and you see how quickly they attack, it's like crazy. Like if you build, like I know a lot of people just don't build RFC just because like they want to save their bow
AP as well.
Or they want to save their bows or whatever. But that
shit
is,
it's so good.
They attack quick.
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's not bad for AP.
Quick.
I'll get into that. Yeah.
This is kind of what I feel like going back to last set, where I feel like people, and it's totally understandable. And I know like it's very difficult to like look at such a complicated game and come up with things, but like people kind of just like copy other people because last set, RFC was very common on Yone or not Yone on Yasuo as well as Riven and Jax because they're like it's a melee carry, it needs extra range. This set, what's different about Yone? It's the same thing, like.
Yeah, and it scales so well with just like how he works. Particularly, I think it scales really well when you have a bunch of base stats, and you just like Academy just gives you a ton of base stats. Challenger gives you a bunch of base stats. It's so good in general.
Like if you think about all of the carries, really, like Urgot. If you tried like RFC Urgot, RFC Fiora, Shaco, Talon. I don't know if anybody's played RFC Jin yet, but
it's fine. Yeah, it's like
fine.
60. It's more AD than a Deathblade.
It's
Is
a
it
good amount.
Really? No.
At 2 stars,
No
more
way.
AD than
And
yeah. 2
you know what
stars
the
more AD
best
than a
part
Deathblade.
is? If you've ever played Jin before and they're like attacking something with a TG and he ults and he whiffs his ult 3 times in a row, it won't happen with RFC.
That's
You don't
true.
miss.
The not
You
miss
don't
is
miss.
very nice too, and it also stops the like. It lets your damage go through like the QSS dodge on other Yones or like other stuff.
That might be cap. That's more AD than Deathblade because someone in chat told me that. I
No,
don't know
that's
how much
not
I can
true.
trust
Yeah.
that.
It's very
close
it's
to
very
much AD.
it's very
You're
close
looking
on
at
Gen
1
1.
star. Yeah,
It's
1
very
star.
close on Gen 1. On Gen 1, it's slightly less.
Okay,
2 stars,
no
it's good.
It's
Yeah,
probably
just
better than
good.
Deathblade on Gen 1 because of the not miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it's good. Yeah, it's good.
And a lot of units, I feel like it is a viable slam. It's not ideal on a lot of things, but if you get 2 bows, it's fine. Like, and on AP also, like you think about it. Think about rapid fire cannon versus Shojin. Shojin is plus 80% mana generation because of 8 extra mana on autos. Rapid fire cannon is plus 60% mana generation because just plus 60% more like faster autos.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah. I think
it's strictly worse than Shojin, but it is not that bad. It's not far behind. And like even Appy slamming rapid fire on a fucking Ziggs in game 3, like sure. We're not upset. None of us are upset about this.
It scales so well. They just become mana generation as well because it's so good in AP. I think it actually someone did the math on Reddit recently, and Shojin plus RFC is more mana generation than Shojin, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's not that close. Just like
Yeah.
intuitively, like
That sounds about that would make
Yeah.
sense, you know.
Yeah.
Dipping into multiple buckets.
It's just so good in general. I mean, it works really well with like a bunch of items in AP as well. Like it works really well with Shiv. You just apply it a ton. You know, it like
It's a really
attacks
cool
speed.
animation where it shoots out
also your
lightning.
bows are usually dead, so
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
carry your
yeah.
bow.
It's a great use of bows in AP because I get dropped 2 bows last patch and I'm like, fuck me. This patch I'm like, okay, RFC, get rid of the bows, it's fine.
I will say, bow is probably the most underrated item in AP, and I don't think it's the worst item by a landslide in AP.
Giant Slayer's really good.
Giant Slayer's fine.
ZZ Rod
RFC's good. ZZ Rod's broken in AP. ZZ Rod is the like single
ZZ
best
Rod
use
is-
of a belt and a bow.
You know, I had
AP.
this scary
disgusting.
game where it was like I was up against a 3-star Cho'Gath, like Bramble Vest Redemption Protector spat in the late game. And I was like, what do I do? Because they had 3-star Mals and like 3-star, and I was playing Arcanist. I had salvage Vin. I salvaged my like Vex, and I made a bunch of ZZ Rod portals, and I put them all on the front line. The Cho'Gath and the Malzahar couldn't kill any of my backline because they were just stuck on ZZ Rod bugs the entire time.
So
A bug, you said?
Yeah, like the little portal
the
bug.
bug.
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
wait, is there a bug with this item?
I've been thinking about the game a lot more recently in terms of like how likely is a fight to go, right? Like board strength is in, you know, something's good if it changes the fight, not just like it's good on paper, you know. And that's a great way to think about the game. And you realize that like items like QSS and ZZ they are so much more fight changing than like so many items, like almost any other item. Like QSS, the fact that you can't get you just don't get RNG'd by like random shit happening, or like, you know, a Braum randomly kills something and then turns and ults your cat. Like you're immune to all of that, like the random fight stuff, and then you also get more RNG in your favor because of the dodge chance in QSS. And then ZZ Rot, so not only is it more HP, it's 200 HP, right? And like the spawn has whatever much HP as well. But that's just a whole nother unit on your board to like take all this CC to stop stuff from walking up, to keep stuff in place. And it just both those items make fights so much more consistent in general. It's actually ridiculous.
Makeshift armor.
Yeah.
Have you ever built ZZ Rod and you made makeshift armor? I said this with innovators.
Wait, are you sure it works?
It does. It does.
Okay, I know. Just for the record, Woodland Charm does not work with makeshift armor.
Oh, does it not?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
That's whack. That's
Woodland Charm sucks.
It's not bad with Scion, but I think it's only not bad with Scion specifically.
Yeah, like it's probably
he'll usually cast once, which is
good. A lot. I don't know.
Cho'Gath doesn't come out with his.
Yeah, Cho'Gath is just one. It's the little 1500 HP shitter.
100 bug.
It does like 200 damage when you ult someone.
slightly less
Galio
HP
too.
than Naked Silent 1, so that we'll usually cast once with a Protector
Yeah.
Blitzcrank.
But if you do have like a 3-star, it's super good. Like
I actually had a game
Three-star
where
Cho?
I
Oh,
would
like
start
three-star
losing
forecast.
rounds because I'm 3-star my Samira, then my Woodland Charm started giving me a 3-star Samira instead of a Scion. And it doesn't do that much.
No, maybe not that, but like a 3-star 4 cost or a 5
Oh, yeah.
cost. I had Woodland Charm ones with Pumpkin 3.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That sounds good.
Like the item farming.
I'm sure the
Real
Woodland Charm was
good.
quite changing. Yeah.
Real good.
That game was a Woodland Charm diff, I'm guessing.
Woodland
Yeah.
Charm, yeah.
Would have been a second.
Unwinnable without the second TK3.
actually, you might need Woodland Charm for some 3-star forecasts, because some of them are not great.
I don't think of taking Woodland Charm. Someone in chat has requested that I tell a story. And I don't know if Aesah knows this, but I know Kevin and Jirachy do.
Yeah.
So in the Piltover Cup, end of day 2, I almost didn't qualify because I had Woodland Charm Lux 3, and I accidentally fed my Zac 2 to my Kench, which gave it more HP than my Lux 3, and I stopped getting 2 Lux 3s, and I lost to Elderwood was really broken at that point, so I lost to an Elderwood board because my Lux I had only 1 Lux 3 instead of 2 Lux 3s. And I won off a tiebreaker. Like, they went down to the 5th. I think there were like 4 or 5 different tiebreakers, and I won off that because I didn't get the extra 2 points to win the game.
Crazy.
I have PTSD about beating Zac 2 to Kench, and I just will never take Woodland again. Probably.
I'm so careful with that Kench. I feel like almost everyone I know has made that mistake at least once where they feed their carry to Kench or something. Like,
it's so scary.
Goodbye, Kaisa 2. Peace.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something. But I think the thing is those items they're just so good at changing fights, right? What other augment changes were there this patch? I don't remember. Were there any big ones?
Ardent Sensor got buffed.
They made a lot of the...
It's broken. Ardent Sensor is ridiculously broken.
Locket Ardent Sensor is insane. It's like Spirit Sharpshooters from Set 4.
They made a lot of the hearts give you like a weaker unit than before, but for some reason you still get a Leona. I don't know why. But...
Oh yeah, that one. Just get Blitzcrank. Come on now, just get a Blitzcrank.
The most insane heart change was that you get a Swain now from Arcanist Heart. That is the most broken shit.
Oh yeah,
you get Swain from Arcanist Heart and Talon
from TF. Wait, didn't they buff TF? They also buffed TF.
They did, but like getting a Swain, the Swain means that you can have TF, Ziggs, just have TF and Ziggs. You get Arcanist Heart, you get given a Swain, you have 4 Arcanists on 2 on. It's just gross. It's disgusting. That unit is a 1v10.
They also buffed Viktor, by the way. I think they
mana,
increased
right? I thought they made his mana down.
Viktor max mana by 10. Yeah, so 1 less auto.
Yeah, 1 less auto. I mean, Viktor,
not bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Viktor is viable. I think Viktor is a viable carry now.
Viktor without Shojin and with Shojin is still like. You compare them. Viktor without Shojin is the biggest piece of crap I've ever played.
Really? I play without Shojin all the time.
Well, you need some mana. You need like Scholar or Socialite.
Here's the thing: if you don't have Shojin and he gets shrouded,
it does feel bad. It does feel.
You don't get to play the game.
If he
doesn't get shrouded, then it's okay. But like if you get shrouded, even if you have something like Scholars, it's over. Your Viktor's not playing the game. If he doesn't get shrouded, I think like it's really, really good. Like Naked Viktor in a lot of comps is super, super good, and people don't realize this, right? Like Naked Viktor, you can play in Kimtech. You can play.
I played in Syndicate in Challenger Series, the Naked Viktor.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, Naked Blue Buff Syndicate's bad.
Yep.
And like, what was built different. With Viktor,
he's so good in build different.
Disgusting. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's actually gross.
I think he was good last patch. I played a ton of Viktor last patch as well. In the Kaisa meta, and that unit just fucking claps. It's actually disgusting how much damage he does. And like even if you don't have Shojin, you literally you need either Shojin or GA, I think. And you can just frontline him with if you have a Viktor 2 or like Runic Shield and a Viktor 1, you just put him in the front line with like a GA and a damage item, and he will just kill the whole. He'll cast guaranteed, and he kills the whole board. It's just it's insane.
I think Shiv is good on him as well. Like Shiv is kind of like budget Shojin. It's mana, it's attack speed, and it's shred. Like that is none of those are bad for Viktor.
My opinion on Viktor is that if you have at least 2 tiers on him, you're fine. Yeah, he's
Yeah. Honestly, same.
Unless
Yeah, I play a lot of Viktor as well.
Yeah, shrouded. Yeah, you get shrouded is kind of fucked, but hopefully you don't get shrouded.
Yeah.
Shroud, Jojen, like you can have 5 tiers on Viktor, and Shroud will still fuck him over. It's whatever.
Blue buff Victor's actually insane, just because you get so many autos. Like, it shaves off so many autos. I think it's actually similar to Shojin, right? A blue buff.
Yes.
Yeah, buff blue buff is really good.
I wonder what the math is on first cast Viktor of blue versus Shojin.
We can do the math.
I mean, 140 divided by 18. So I don't know. That's like 8,
like 8,
maybe 8 autos ish. Yeah, it's 8, and then blue is 140 minus 50, so it's 9. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's close. It's very close.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you planning to play Lux, so there was a game today where I was planning to play Lux. I hit a Viktor 2 on 8, but that was kind of far. But you hit a Viktor when you're looking for Lux. You just slap a buff on him and he can do the same shit. You just have to play your board. I think you have to play your board a little bit differently. But in general, that unit is just disgusting.
I think what Ramblin said during the co-stream, I don't remember what day it was, but like if you're playing Arcanist, if you have scuffed items, you pretty much always play Viktor. Like if you have blue buff JGIE, then you now have a Lux option, but it's not like that item combo is even bad on Viktor. Like if I have that item combo on Viktor, I'm happy with that. So he's so much more of a flexible carry than Lux. And if you're going the Arcanist route, if you hit Viktor, it's so easy to just carry him, because then you're not committing you're not committing these otherwise meh items. Like that blue buff JGIE combo it's good on Viktor, it's bis on Lux. It's not really that good on anyone who's not an Arcanist.
I think the nice part about carrying Viktor, particularly in Arcanist, is that it changes the whole game plan of the comp. It changes the win condition of the comp like entirely, right? Because when it's Lux, it's like pray your Lux snipes out the backline and then you clean up the fight. And if she doesn't snipe out the backline, you're probably fucked because you just get out DPS'd. But with Viktor, it's like just survive till he casts, he kills everything. And like it makes the plan for the comp so much more simple, which it's much easier to position around. It's much easier to like play around item wise as well. I think if you have scuffed items and then you're like, okay, I can put, I think I played like 6 Arcanist Viktor today, and I had scuffed. I had like Rabadon just a bunch of raw IP on top of raw IP, and like I stalled until I runic shield, and you just stall until he casts, and then the whole board is wiped in one ult. And you're like, that was a fun round. On the next one. Which I like the game plan for Viktor much more than the game plan for Lux, because I think Lux's is a lot harder to execute with Arcanist units in general, because they're not. I feel like they're not meant to be like. Vex to a degree is meant to stay around for a while, but it's hard to make her stay around for a while, or like do anything effective, in my opinion, because like the meta is not very frontline backline. Like something's always on your backline. So it's so hard to have a Lux that wants to like snipe out a carry or something. And like in the Yone, for example, right? Like your Lux will just fucking die. Or if you have like a GA Viktor, he gets killed, but he casts before he dies unless he gets shrouded, and then the whole board's dead. And then this Vex with fucking ZZ Rot QSS in your front line can just clean up the end of the fight for you. Once it's a lot more reliable, I think, than a Lux.
The one thing about Lux that makes her, it might be like a sort of plus compared to Viktor, is that she doesn't really need mana items. Like people say you need blue buff on Lux, but if you've ever played Lux without mana items, it's actually like a GS decap or a jewel gauntlet, or like a Archangel's GS jewel gauntlet. There's a whole bunch of items that you can put on her, like Gunblade, etc. Because her mana cost is so low and you have the built-in mana regen from when she kills units, if you have scholars, for example, you really don't need the mana items, which is nice. Because, if you have something like, for example, Sins, I've actually had a lot of success if you play Lux into Sins, because, Sins jump on Lux ults immediately and just slaps him in the face. And then, if you have like any sort of shielding or healing on her, she goes again, Sins are dead. Sometimes Viktor is a little bit iffy, especially if he gets jumped on. Because what's gonna happen is, well, one, if he doesn't get the ult off, or if you only get that one single laser and it sort of fizzles and like does a little one-liner.
Yeah, that sucks. Jay's so good on
you can't get the whole thing.
Yeah, one little like chode laser, yeah.
You're like, shit.
The one little one, he just spawns and goes and kills nothing. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. That little laser. I love
But-
Viktor though.
yeah.
Lux is great though for sure. Particularly, it's interesting because like as we were saying, Sins are really good this patch. They were good last patch as well, but people just weren't playing them as much. But
Yeah, Katarina's always still been like viable even too.
yeah,
But people just all of a sudden stop playing her. Tactics.tools like has listed like it's different now, but last patch it was listed as the second best comp like the entire patch. But
Really?
like no one was playing it because they're like, oh, Katarina's nerfed, I don't want to play it anymore.
that's wild. Actually, that's a
In
crazy
terms
statistic.
in terms of win rate, yeah.
Yeah,
Solos played her in finals too. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not bad. It's not oppressive like it was 2 patches ago. Or was
And you
it
don't
3
get contested anymore. That's
Yeah.
great.
But also that's the thing about like any kind of reroll. If a reroll is not particularly meta, then you're pretty much guaranteed to be uncontested, which is fucking perfect for hitting 3 stars.
Exactly, and that is why the new meta comp is now Alawi.
No.
Fuck it. I watched a YouTube video the other day that was it was someone just 3-starring every single 1 cost, and their board at level 9 was just like they were rolling for like Alawi 3 at 9 because they needed to run because and that was their comp. And I was like, that's some crazy shit. I'm down for
that
to
sounds
be
lit. Like a one.
Yeah,
imagine built different with a bunch of 1 costs.
I think it was built different because I'm pretty sure there's no or actually it's Arcanist, I guess. So I think maybe it was just like featherweight. It was some stupid. Like it looked good. It was beating like, yeah, it was beating some crazy shit. I don't know. I'm down for that. Yeah, okay. Alawi 3 meta.
Alawi 3.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen. What a unit.
1 cost reroll this patch. I mean, I know Kevin likes Twitch reroll a lot.
Yeah.
I've never played it.
I have mixed opinions, but I don't play it as well as Kevin does. I know.
I still can't believe that people think that the Twitch reroll comp involves Ezreal and Zillion.
That one's so bad. It's so bad.
I looked at Rue's guide, right, for comps for 12.1, and there's Twitch reroll is on there. I was like, oh snap, they actually have Twitch reroll on there. I see Ezreal, Zillion, and I'm like,
it's so bad.
What part about Twitch makes you want to play Ezreal, Zillion, except for the fact that Singed is in the comp? You know, like Singed is in the comp. Okay, and now you think, all right, just because Singed is here, I'll play, what is it, Camille? I'll play Ezreal and I'll play Zillion plus the Twitch. And we can worry about Sins, we can worry about Chemtech later, but we need
Ezreal 3. You guys know
bought
Ezreal
4
3
in
does.
gold Twitch reroll for cat. Okay, I bought 4 with it today in gold, but that's completely different. That is completely different. I've topped 2 Challenger every time I've played Twitch. Straight up. That one I rolled 30 gold and I didn't hit Twitch or Singed. It was really sad. I was about to cry.
The hidden OP reroll comp is actually Vi. I have 100% win rate in Challenger with Vi reroll. I played it 3 games.
Oh snap!
The past 2 patches. Yep. Because you only play it. One game, I literally had Fiora 2 on 6.
Oh, well,
like on like 3-3.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah,
but you only play it if it's obnoxiously high roll. I think that like reroll and sterile this patch is just like, I mean, that's what in my opinion it should be regardless. But like, you can't just hard force it. It's just if you are super obnoxiously high rolling Twitch reroll, Vi reroll, you just take it, right?
Yeah, or like
it's just like you get 5 copies of some unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Trundle, I've seen Trundle around.
Yep.
Been making the rounds. Again, Talon. If you happen to get a lot of Samira's, I think Samira's pretty good. I think people kind of sleep on her, especially since that Samira. She's
good on tempo. I think she's bad if you're like trying to force it.
For sure. Unless you have like the nut augments. Like, okay, I've seen people just like
all for one
skip over like all of the Imperial things. You know, like the one that gives you health, the one that gives you 2.
Is dual good?
Dual, if you have 5 Imperial, it's disgusting. Cause like, you know, they buffed Imperials again, right? And what is the Tyrant get on 5? It's like 150, 150, right? I was debating between 150 and 170, but like you get 150% damage boost on 2 units. That's kind of good, right? Like, it's especially with spat. If you have like an Imperial spat on like a Kaisa or like a Fiora, right? Like, you know, plus the Samira, like, you know, that sounds pretty good. This is
a lot of damage.
Not bad.
It's one of those things that just doesn't work. And like Fight Imperial, the stats are so insane, but when like you watch a fight, it's like, oh, my Talon just like got stuck on the front line, or like the bodyguard they put in front of their carry, and my Samira is just here whacking a Braum for her entire life. Like
I think you really need a spat to make it work. It's like
just none of them do anything except Scion. They just all do raw damage, so it's like you don't want to be playing a bunch of they don't have synergies with each other like Arcanists do.
Yeah. Imagine if there's like a scrap challenger. Just play Echo.
Oh, no, that would be disgusting. That would be so gross.
You can play like Echo Blitz in the comp.
But it would make innovators like so much stronger in the early game too, because like you could fit in like scrap with so Camille, Clockwork.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. So we've kind of bounced back and forth between the Challenger Series and the patch. I think we've kind of talked a lot about the patch and what's good, what's bad. We can focus a little more on the Challenger Series again now. And Aesah, so going in, you know, what was your? So I think we've all watched the Gang League video, so you more or less know what you're thinking. But if you just want to, I mean, maybe not just reiterate, but just what were your thoughts going in? How'd you feel?
I mean, yeah, just going in, like I think there's a lot of really good players. I think personally, I know some people like disagree, but I think any person in that tournament could have taken it.
Everyone was so good.
So like I think I'm gonna play my best, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I did think, I'm probably gonna try to stay away from Urgot. I don't think I play it at all because I know there's a lot of other Urgot players in here. So like I don't want to be contesting a comp that like. Because everyone has their like natural inclinations. Like even starting on like stage 1, the first stage 1, 2, the first stage you can buy units. Like starting with that stage, it's like what units you buy on that stage, like kind of can lead your direction very frequently.
I think Challenger Series tourneys in general are always going to be stacked. But even within the context of Challenger Series, that was one of the most stacked finals I've ever seen. Like the 8 best players in that tourney made it to finals. And from that point, anyone could have taken it, and just everyone, at least so far, has just played really well. Anyone could have fucking won that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
scary.
It's really promising for just the future in general, knowing like this, we can have these tournaments that just get super competitive and just super stacked, and they're just genuinely exciting to watch, just from a spectator perspective, just watching the games. The games were nuts.
Yeah, after that one round where like every single person had like 17 or like 24 points, I was like, it's because like they're only like the people that were in 7th and 8th, I think were like, if I remember right, were like Spencer and Setsuko. Then they went 1 and 2 or something in that game. So it was like it pushed everyone like so close together.
The parity of that tournament or that finals was insane.
Yeah, that situation with Setsuko, has anyone heard from him? That situation sounds so unfortunate. Like, it's for me, I can't imagine how I feel in his spot.
Yeah. He was talking about on Twitter. He apparently did. So Spencer was messaging him. Apparently, he didn't realize he wasn't doing the math properly. So he didn't realize that if he said he didn't realize that if he FF'd in the moment that he thought he was gonna lose his tiebreaker to you if he FF'd. So that's why he didn't. But he said that he would have in a heartbeat if he knew that he would. But like. You know, it's so hard in the rules. You can't. Yeah. So for
that's
anyone,
really gross situation.
Yeah, for anyone who
you don't need to FF. You can just. You know, get your carries effort. You somehow finger slip.
Get into the top cash on accident.
I accidentally sold my whole board.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what would have happened if he did do that, right? Because it's tough because in the rules, like it says you can't forfeit, and
I do, but I don't think I can talk about it. I just know. Well, like what I'll say is, for people who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to.
So Setsuko in game 5 when Appies was the only person who had win con, and it was down to Appies and Setsuko top 2. If Setsuko had thrown that 1v1. and not won game 5, the tourney would have ended right there. Appies would have won. Setsuko would have gotten the second spot for mid set, and he ended up not, and got third in the whole tourney. And it's just a whole gross situation because it's this player that it's outlined in the rule book you can't FF.
Yeah.
Like players have gotten warnings for pressing FF when they're already dead. That is how much Giant Slayer wants players to not surrender the game, because surrendering the game and not like trying your best ruins the competitive integrity of the whole game, and it's just such a bad look. So the rules are so like you're being told you shouldn't do this, but you also know from I'm trying to qualify for mid-set perspective, it is correct for me to do this. So it is a gross situation, and it puts so much pressure on the player to think about like what the implications are, like if this is going like public perception implications. Although I don't think, from what it sounds like, I don't think any of us would have faulted Setsuko for eating that, because it makes sense. It's like you're trying to qualify for mid-set. This is the correct action to qualify for mid-set. But putting a player in that kind of situation just sucks. And I know Giant Slayer is looking at the whole thing, and they're figuring out solutions. It's not something they looked at and they're like, this is fine, this can just happen. Who cares? Like, Giant Slayer is very good about seeing these kinds of things and improving. They've been improving things every single tournament. So they're looking. They're
such a
looking
good job.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I think it's a really big issue just with like the fact that it's a checkmate format, but like multiple people are playing for like something to go for, right? Like it's different if somebody's just trying to win versus like, let's say we had regional finals and you're trying to qualify for worlds, you get 3 or 4 players and it's checkmate format on the last day, right? Like, think about how many issues would arise from doing something like that. And it's similar here, right? Because like normally I think checkmate is really, it's solely for the purpose of like getting first. That's the only thing that really matters. But when people start to think about, oh, how do I, like, the second place here gets to qualify for mid set, that's when it becomes sort of a big problem, because then like, because the second place is really wonky in a checkmate format, right? It's not like if you have the second most points, then you just get second, right? Or I can control whether or not the tournament ends right now, right? And I can just call it here, right? In a checkmate format, you can do that, but in a standard, like, let's just play out 6 games, see what the points are, you can't. So you just have to play your best for all those 6 games, and you just try to have to amass like the most amount of points. Checkmate is a lot. I don't think it's really suited for something like that when it's not just who comes first is on the line. There's a lot more for other players. In those instances, it really, it doesn't make any sense outside of, oh, we want to make this like a spectacle, but like it really doesn't make sense for the players or for the event.
Yeah.
I even spent some time thinking about it in my last game, where it's like, okay, if Appies wins, I think I get second because I placed high enough about Setsuko. But so I was thinking, okay, if I can just position against Solus and then Appy wins, and that's good for me.
Which that's a implication of just playing in tournament in general and knowing your place in the standings. What you're talking about there, I don't even think is an issue with checkmate format. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's just the nature of tournaments, because even in a standard 6-game point system, like in the final, like in the final 3, there's someone you have to knock out in order to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody you have
positioned for them. Yeah,
there's somebody you have to knock out, but it's different from like there's somebody. Like, I have to lose here, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, and checkmate is like, I can lose here,
that's the point.
And,
Exactly.
it's lit. The tournament is over.
And and sometimes there are some scenarios where, like, like, final 3, it's correct to lose to a player, so they knock out the other... So, there's a player you can
lower
beat.
someone else's place.
Yeah.
There's a player
if it's like a
beat,
rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. There's a player you can beat, you choose to lose to them, they knock out the player you cannot beat, you then beat the player. Like, that is in the end, I'm going to, like, I'm stacking this one round to increase my placement in the context of a game. Like, that makes sense, but any action that any situation where you are encouraged to lower your placement in the entirety of a game and throw a game and not play your best, I think is a flawed format.
I think it can be rough because I've seen this a lot. Like it happens in poker where like and I've seen it happen in just like other tournaments as well. But I guess there's two main examples I can think of. So the first one I'll talk about is like, let's say it's a seeded tournament, and let's just say there's 4 players. 2 players play against each other, then the other 2, and then it's like the winners face off and the losers face off. But let's say there's a huge upset in the other bracket. Then it's like, okay, well now I want to lose because I play their worst player if I lose. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is just like personal friendships. Like let's say I went 8th every single game, so I have no chance of qualifying at all. But then like if I play in a certain way, my close friend can make it. I don't think this happens in the TFT scene, but it definitely can happen.
Wait, what's this?
Right? Well, it's not.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's not. It's not the I want my friend to make it. It's I don't want this person to make it.
Oh, and also China.
Yeah.
I heard they were doing some stuff, but I didn't really follow back then. So,
wait, can we talk? We should talk about this.
I'll just talk about real quick for Aesah. There was the European player Threy was already qualified for the next day of some tourney, actively positioned for Salvi, and actively played 2 Grief Salvi in that game, so Salvi did not move on. Which is there was a whole thing about that, but I think that's
and
so
thus
long
the
ago.
phrase "crying little bitch" was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like I kind of agree. Like you shouldn't. I think it should be like against the rules to do that. But the problem is there's no way to enforce it because he could just be like, oh, like
yeah, I saw him playing Talon. I was like, I like playing Talon. I'll play Talon too.
which is part of the whole issue with the Setsuko situation is he could have like FF'd without it looking like with FF'd in a way that's explainable as like, oh, I fucked up. Not I threw the game on purpose, and that's where like the gray area comes in, and then now we have to it's just a whole messy situation we don't have to deal with if the format doesn't encourage something.
The easiest
like
one that comes to mind is just feeding to Kench. By the way, secret.
Eat everything to Kench.
Trying to throw the tournament just by it.
He was definitely trying to lose some rounds and gives like because he had metaballs. He had like a lot of time to think, right? Because in my mind, I already lost that game because he just puts Enforcer in and I lose. So I wasn't really thinking that much. And so I definitely I put Peg it hard enough where he couldn't throw by moving into his effort.
Oh no!
The reverse.
I felt like I was like a deer
pulled out the Uno card.
I was like, what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. You pulled out the Uno card and just threw it.
I saved the TFT community from controversy by sucking him back.
I don't even. Well, you saved it from controversy. I don't think you saved it from discussion.
No, definitely
talking about it. We've talked a lot about
it. Definitely not. Yeah, it needs to be talked about because that should never be a position that the tournament or Setsuko's ever put in. It is or should ever be put in.
We should just have a point system, 1 through 8, every game, fixed amount of games. Do it.
Probably just think about viewership, right? Because it's like a checkmate system is exciting to watch. I think. But it's not
through the viewers. Through the viewers.
I think from a like even from a viewer perspective, like Ramblin' I think said this where it's rough for the viewers if the tournament has ended before the game has. But when you're playing for just one winner, that's rough. Like that's everyone on broadcast dealing with like, oh, this person got 4th, they won the tourney. I guess we have to cast the top 3. Like that kind of sucks. But when you have more than that to play for, like I think with regionals where you have 3 regional spots, where even going into game 6 of set 5 regionals, Robin had won the tournament. Just straight up. Could have eaten an 8, could have literally AFK'd game 6 and would have won. But there was still 2 other spots to play for. It came coming down to Spencer versus Pocky for the last spot. There was excitement up to the end. There was excitement up to even in Robin, like having already won. Just how dominant is this win gonna be? There was more to it besides just who won because there was more to play for. But when the most important thing by a mile is who wins, then like set number of games can get a little rough.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to solve because obviously to be a good esport and to be like a successful esport, you need to have viewership because that's how the world works. And it's like changing the format away from a checkmate format for events like this that are smaller in scale and um, people. Not that people aren't gonna watch it because it's smaller, but it's like it's probably harder to get people's attention from it, right? And a checkmate format just makes it a more interesting experience, but it makes it worse for the players. So it's like hard to figure out where you draw that line. And I don't really know what the answer. I don't know what answer Giant Slayer is going to like get to solve that issue, but I mean they're so good at what they do. I'm sure they'll find something that makes everyone.
They'll find something. Recent natures listen to and care about us.
White people happy.
Yeah. White people happy. Nature's boyfriend.
So there's actually I think we'll probably not talk about doubles too much or maybe at all because it's.
There's some
happens. We can
controversy. If anybody,
actually, there is. We can talk about that.
Okay, this is the we're talking about controversy.
Oh yeah, TFT drama. It's time.
We finally have TFT drama.
RamKev, you are the father.
I've been waiting for this the whole time.
Yeah, TFT drama. I mean, it's the thing with like win trade or not. It's not really win trade. It's like you in doubles you can exploit it so that you're playing against bad people basically by playing with new accounts as your partner. So you climb infinite doubles LP. So if anybody hasn't seen it, Peeba made a big post on the competitive TFT subreddit. And Peeba's like pretty high up there on the double. I want to say Peeba's like 5th in
he was ranked
up.
5 in some screenshot I posted.
And I think
yeah.
he's the only one not abusing.
Peeba's still ranked 5th. And if you look at, all 4 of the teams above Peeba, he basically gave evidence. And I was like, yeah, all 4 of these people are exploiting the double up system. They're playing with fresh accounts so that they can play against, noobs on the double up ladder and farm rank points. So I do believe that Doopy Papa qualified for the coming double up tournament, I think, along with Ramblin' and
Is that one of the person
there,
who was exploiting it, or?
Yeah, so they were.
Yes.
Here's the
they-
situation. I saw someone on Twitter today, and I know the situation. So they were not actually apparently climbing by exploiting the bug. They were helping someone else who's like, I think there was another person above them that they were the partner for, and they were helping them with lower level accounts and abusing it. Apparently, there's no evidence of that account abusing the bug, but they've been actively helping someone else like abuse the bug, and now that person that they were partnering with is not allowed in the tournament, so they're now partnering with some random person who they've never played double up with before for the tournament.
Yes.
NA representation.
And apparently they're both not from NA either.
Yeah. There's on the Wikipedia page actually fun fact. When I first checked to see if they had like put in all the participants, they had that team listed as Chinese representatives.
Thick. Nothing honestly, nothing screams American spirit like outsourcing your talent.
I mean, wait, Aesah. Totally random question you don't have to answer. Is your nationality Chinese?
Yeah, I'm Chinese. I was born in Pittsburgh, though.
Okay, so wait. Oh shit.
I was born here, but yeah, my parents are Chinese.
5/8 of this call is ethnically Chinese, and we're all NA.
All right.
So, yeah, like NA like China, but I think I read the Reddit post as well, but yeah, and I can see why they skipped the top 3 because there was blatant evidence of them abusing the system. But I did read it, and
one thing
you can infer that Doopy Bop Papa is cheating or helping cheating, but the hard evidence is iffy, and just personally reading through it, I don't know. I'm sure Riot has done enough vetting that they are okay with, there's not enough evidence that this person was actively cheating, was breaking the rules, that we cannot invite them. Because if there isn't sufficient evidence and they just say, we're going to skip this person anyway, then that creates a whole new round of, okay, well, they can just do what they want with the invites, which in all fairness, they can do what they want with the invites, but it does, from an optics standpoint, it does look a little better that this team that doesn't have hard evidence of cheating, even though it looks like there was sketchy shit involved, they have to invite them anyway, which is what it is.
I think like one really important part that I think hasn't been mentioned is that Riot explicitly said you're not allowed to do this because without that, I think it would be kind of unfair to like not say that and then be like, oh well, like we just thought this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's because even if there's not evidence of them doing it on their account, there's evidence of them helping someone else do it, and there's a line to draw there for sure, right? They're like, I think participating in it should be, so it's just an unfortunate event to it's really putting a damper on the whole Hextech Havoc duos tournament. Hopefully it'll be a great event regardless.
We still do, like, NA has 2 other teams repping them, although I have more faith in one of them than the other.
Soju and Milk at a clap.
Yeah,
right?
They're gonna do so.
Oh my god.
Worried about Rambo.
I think they can clap.
Have they played it together before?
Is 3 NA teams? Total?
Well, the whole format,
2.5.
It's like 2.
Right,
so
3 NA teams.
He invited from lab partners, one from Double Trouble, which was the EU equivalent, a team from ladder from every region, and then 2 other slots. And the 2 other slots just went to like a second Chinese team. I talked to someone from Giant Slayer actually, and they just had qualifiers. They didn't go off ladder, so they just qualified 2 teams, and then NA just we invited Soju and Milk because inviting Soju to this tourney from a numbers perspective kind of just makes sense.
Objectively, the right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You have to. You have to.
No, I don't think anyone looks at that and is like, Soju does not deserve to be here.
Have you seen the I am esports meme on Twitter?
Oh my, yes.
Soju can say I am TFT.
Fucking don't remind me of Thorin. God, no. I'm not talking about Thorin
I
on the
am esports. I am teamfight tactics.
I am esports shit is just gross. That's what I'll leave it at. It's just gross.
Yeah. So that tournament's looking interesting. So we have to start wrapping up pretty soon here, but any big guesses of how Zaun Cup's gonna go? Any big hopes for what's gonna happen? Goals, thoughts?
I think it's gonna look like Piltover Cup, like it's a very similar structure to Piltover Cup. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think hopefully, I mean, I hope Setsuko makes it after this.
Me too.
Fiasco.
Yeah. That would be tragic.
I think my hot take is because the meta is in a much more like established and like well-rounded spot. We're going to see a lot more like established pros make it through. It depends. I mean, it depends on the patch. If the next patch sucks, then it's fucked. But
that reminds me, I have to try out TF reroll before it's Zaun Cup.
Someone went 8th in one of my games today.
Yeah.
But I think if the patch is in a similar spot where it's like there's a lot of options and it's relatively balanced and it's pretty flexible, we're going to see a lot more established names get through. At least the final day.
I love
agree with that a lot
too. Flexible meta is my favorite.
Piltover is so early, it kind of favors like in poker. I always think there's like 2 types of players. There's one that's like kind of intuitively, they're just like kind of good gamers. They're like look at something and figure it out, and the other kind that are like good studiers. So I mean, like now, like Piltover favors like the gamers, and then Zaun Cup, the set's been out for so long. The people who are like really good at like maintaining, like taking in all that information and retaining it, and like copying the meta have a lot more of a bigger edge. When like Piltover Cup happened, there wasn't really like much of a meta to copy because like people are like GA, Yone, BIS. No.
Yeah.
I mean, people were playing Mercs in Piltover Cup though. That one was.
Mercs was fucking broken. So.
Good old broken.
I blocked that one out of my memory. Actually, Mercs is probably one of my biggest weaknesses. I don't know how to play Mercs.
Same, literally same. The last game.
We like to win.
I love Mercs. Yeah, Mercs is lit.
The last game I got given
you two don't need to be good at Mercs.
Yeah,
But it would
God for
help.
that.
I mean,
yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got given a GP off an order the last game of Challenger Series. I sold that shit so quick.
Oh wait, every time I get a
Oh, it's
GP
so
off
great.
of orbs, I start like salivating. I'm like,
I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't
Yes.
want to deal with it.
Go down.
second last game, I had 2-1 mercs. I just pivoted to Yordles at 2-3.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh damn, this man does not want to play mercs.
Yeah, fuck mercenary.
I do not know how to play
honestly.
mercs. I tried like after we had this discussion and I was like, oh, I want to be a more rounded player, well-rounded player. I should learn to play mercs. I played on ladder yesterday. I went 6th. I was like, fuck this. I'm done with mercs.
Never again.
Watch Solus, but I think also watch the session where I VOD reviewed Solus's finals games because Solus was in
I was
my
there
chat.
for a lot of it.
Yeah, we were all in chat.
Yeah. For
This was
anyone
there
in
too.
general who wants to anyone in chat right now who really wants to play mercs, go in my VODs, find the Kyun and Solus one, and watch Solus and watch chat.
Yeah, Kyun
Also, go watch the Kyun game where he sold his mercs before he cashed out.
Play of the
Yeah.
tournament.
That was the elephant in the room, the biggest play of the tournament.
That I'll
the
say
play
also,
will go down in history
Yeah.
is the worst TFT play.
Yeah, it's not
That was so
even
funny.
so
Kyun-
funny.
Kyun and
Oh,
Solus
so much
popping into my chat while I was VOD reviewing them was the most surreal shit, and like I was like sweating so hard. I was like, oh fuck, they're here.
They just popped.
Oh, boy.
Kyun just popped up.
We were
Yeah.
by reviewing.
Yeah,
He was like,
no.
here I would play 3 out of 3 instead of 2 out of 3 mercs. That's just me.
He for anyone who does not know, I spent a good chunk of time speculating like what happened and like what mental block happened that he played 2 out of 3. He pops in chat and was just like, oh, I thought I had taken Merc Crest on 3-3. And that was it. I was like, wow,
Man
that's
behind the curtain.
somehow even dumber than everything I was going through. I love Kyun. I think he's a
so
great
good
player.
at the game.
He's
a
insane
content
at the
machine,
game.
though.
He just randomly fucking trolls and brain
Yeah.
farts.
It's I feel like that's why I think I was saying this. I think this was before the podcast started, but I was saying that I always watch Kyun's perspective for any tournament, because he's just amazing in the game and he plays well in tournament all the time. But there's like he just consistently makes these huge content moments in tournament, like the 7+2, the infamous not double ecoing Ash, even though he had that he's a great player and he's really fun to watch. So yeah. This was
actually in my very first group for Piltover Cup, and the very first game, he was like, "Why am I playing 6 Scholar? I just flamed someone for playing 6 Scholar. It's solo queue, like." And then he went 8th.
Oh, Kyun.
It is actually 6 Scholar is actually good. I think back then we just didn't know how to play it.
Oh, with Heimerdinger? Next
Back
just
during Piltover Cup, we thought it was.
What a comp! I love Heimerdinger, man.
Is your frontline just
my
like Terracless?
Oh, when I play Heimer, I actually play with Vex. I do Vex 6. So because it gives you the AP that you need for or it gives you some additional AP with the Arcanist, and it's really easy to hit Vex 3 if you're going for Heimer 3.
Do you only play 6 if you have like a
Oh yeah, if you have some. Yeah, if you got some augments in there, then you can go 6 when you have Yumi.
Also, all the
Yumi,
scholars are such good units. I mean,
yeah, they're all.
Heimer's a carry, but he's the worst unit. But all the other ones are like insane.
Zyra 1's so fucking good. It's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
I had a game today where I put a random Zyra 1 on my board at the end of the round versus like someone who's carrying like Jin and Jace. And,
Yeah.
like random Zyra 1 made them not able to play the game.
Yeah, and it's like Zyra's probably like the worst scholar, which is insane because she's such a good unit.
She's so good, especially front to back. Front to back, she's disgusting. And like, okay, if anybody has played blue buff Heimer into Sins, it's
good.
so bad for the Sins because you know what happens to the Sins when they jump on a Heimer? Heimer has like one of the highest single target DPS in like the entire game because like all of those missiles go on one unit. They like fucking they like destroy the Sin in one ult. You don't even need the triple ult. They just like murk that Sin, like any Sin that jumps on him. It's gross.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Zaun Cup, it should be interesting. I want to see how the meta shakes up. We will see. I think a lot of comps. Hopefully, the meta stays really flexible. Like, a lot of stuff's good, and it'll be a good tournament. It's
Wait,
exciting.
there's gonna be a B patch before Zaun?
This Wednesday, yep, there's a patch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the 2-week schedule again. Maybe they'll buff Jinx.
No, they won't.
Some
I'm feeling
augmentation.
Shaco and Talon might get touched.
Yeah, I think they will as well. I hope Swain does. Okay, I hope Swain doesn't, because I play a lot of Swain, but Swain deserves to get touched. He's too good.
There are also some augment changes coming in that we don't have to talk about now.
Released?
Yeah, they haven't released it yet. Mort's been hinting at it.
Are they going through with the Ornn Forge?
It's not. I don't think it's confirmed, but as far as I know, that's the plan to make Ornn
gold?
to make portable Forge gold.
Sounds like the
I
best
feel like
gold
if
augment.
portable Forge, I almost said portable Forge, but portable Forge, I feel like if they make it like a gold augment, I think they had to do some additional touches on some of like the OP.
Oh yes. There's no way they don't touch the numbers on the items. I think they do that anyway. They do that sometimes anyway when they transfer an augment between tiers. Like they did that for Woodland Charm when they made it prismatic. They buffed the health the Woodland copy had. So I imagine they're gonna nerf some of the numbers because like Collector on a gold augment.
Oh my gosh, Collector!
It's already
so
insane.
Broken.
It's insane on prismatic. It's going to be the most broken shit ever out of gold.
I feel like all the gold augments in every tier, like so the econ augments in every tier, are just like the strongest. So I don't know what the deal is with
dominance.
That, but,
dominance fucking blow.
Okay, some of them are not that great, but like Checkmate lost hyper roll.
I think people are really bad around playing for dominance. Like
you
whenever
I send it right,
whenever I play dominant, like there are some comps that are really like innovators plus Locket, for example. If you play that with dominance, you form infinite gold, like infinite gold.
The Seraphine Ori
opener, I feel
you beat units by like you 8-0 boards with Seraphine Ori.
Yeah,
so,
but dominance is really something that if you really want value out of it, you're gonna have to take it off of your first augment. Exactly, and if you want to play it as your first augment, you actually have to like know how to have like a really cracked early game.
Yeah,
and like know how to
augment, which makes it hard.
How to abuse that augment.
Talent.
But I've had successful games where it's like you play the innovators because the bug actually counts as another unit for the dominance thing. So you play innovators, you stack backline.
Or does target dummy count as well?
No, I don't think it does.
Imagine.
If it did, that would be weird. That would be strange, but because I've messed around. Like ZZ Rod bug doesn't count towards dominance, for example. But I don't know everything.
We'll see.
It's definitely hit or miss compared to something like calculated loss.
Yeah, which is just
like hyper roll.
Hyper roll. Yeah, I just feel like in every single tier, the econ augments are like at the top. I think almost especially for prismatic. Like if you get like level up, like white bending, march of progress.
Windfall is so good.
Oh, last augment Windfall just is a free level 9. It's disgusting.
Yeah, there's some of them that are not, but for the most, some of them like have just been like clearly the best in the tier for like if you get it first for like the entire set.
Yep.
Like not even close.
Yeah,
like we saw so many people taking Rich Get Richer like last patch and still this patch because like you get so much gold. It's like gross.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting tournament. I think there will be a lot of econ augments all over the tournament as well. I think the meta is gonna be more than unless they somehow manage to find a way to nerf Yordle and Merc more. I think econ is still gonna be a big.
Yeah,
the econ traits are really huge in the Zaun Cup.
Yeah, I think
it's like
I feel like
Yordle's
all the way
both at once because it gives you 2 stars. It's like what?
I think all the way through the tourney though, I think it's going to look a little more like ladder than like Challenger Series because it's it's functionally an open tournament. Not exactly, but for the most part, it's a bunch of ladder players. It's when there's 6 ladder players and 2 tourney players in the game's gonna look like a ladder game. It just is what it is. The tourney players can play a little more like tourney, because it's better players. It's a challenger lobby basically, but it's not going to look like Challenger Series, and that's just the reality of it. It's going to be a competitive tournament. It's just not final day. Until final day, it's just not going to be as competitive.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like Piltover Cup was my first tournament, and like I said, I had to play through day one, and I was really surprised. I thought the lobbies were going to be a lot tougher, but they were, I mean, easier than a lot of like the high level ladder tournaments you get into, ladder lobbies.
Yeah.
Day one was interesting. I also played day one because I ran it down right before the. Yeah, day one, there's definitely a noticeable difference between days. Like day one was definitely the easiest day, and then day two was kind of hard, and then day three was like crazy hard. So
yeah,
and that's just what it is with that kind of tournament. I mean, that not to say like people can't. You know, I'm sure there'll be upsets, as there were this past one. I think like Soju Kyun, a lot of people didn't get like I think Kerm as well. A lot of people like big names, big like well-known players that do really well in general in tournaments just didn't get through because that's just TFT.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think like anyone, like I think like realistically right now, like the skill gap, like you could argue like it's subjective whether it's big or small, but like it is such a way that like if you're the 50th best player in NA, you could win spot.
Yep. If you have a really high roll day, everyone's
if you have a really high day,
you know, it's
because there's gonna be 160 of them, right? Like out of those 160 people that are like the top 150, like let's say you're near the bottom, one of those people can high roll. Yeah. One of those people can high roll on
yeah, okay. Someone won my games today. This is a super tangent. Someone won my games today. Galio 3 on like 5-1, or like
were they playing Mercs
or something? Yeah, they were playing Merc. They're playing Merc. Hit Galio 3 super early.
RamKev was just like, that's an average game for me.
Yeah,
makes sense.
But shit like that can happen. It can happen on ladder and tournament wherever. So it'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to participate in. And yeah, we're gonna start wrapping up here. We have one question that I saw in because we do a little question answer thing at the end here, which was, do you think Riot should publish the bugs in TFT? Just make all the bugs known. Because it for a while, like there was a Socialite bug where Duet was active the entire time you had Socialite in, whether you had the augment or not, and they kept it hidden, right? Do we think they should like make those public?
They should let us know, mostly because it affects gameplay.
Yeah, I think with bugs it gets iffy because Riot does not want to give us perfect information about anything. They want us to figure stuff out. But with bugs, with stuff that's not intended, it gets iffy. I kind of want to lean towards no-ish. I genuinely
feel
don't
like
know.
The thing is about bugs.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by bugs when they happen. Like,
it's
not really something that is like, oh, what? This happened? Oh my god. Like, if your units disappear, it's been known. They don't really have to tell us that, oh yeah, sometimes your units are not going to show up on your board after you buy them.
I think they should have like a list, but I don't think they should like announce them.
Yeah. Someone pointed out in chat, maybe like let players know before a tourney like what bugs exist and if any are considered illegal. Like that kind of makes sense. Give them like going on to ladder, like whatever. Your ladder performance to some extent is dictated by how much you know about the game, how much you study, how much things you notice on your own. And that's why I think they will never publish never publish a full list of like these are a bunch of interactions because they want people to figure that out in some way or another, and that makes sense. With bugs, I think for like a tourney where it has more impact and giving players that information for that higher stakes, I can get behind. I don't know if I would fully say yes. On ladder, I kind of want to lean towards no.
I think like especially that Socialite one was like so impactful. I mean, like you're literally getting like a free like silver augment, like and Socialite was not only a free silver augment but like a really strong one. It's just like so impactful. But then it's like oh, I don't know, like should I use this? Is it unethical to use this? So you scout lobby, like everyone has their carry on a fake Socialite hex. Like all right, fuck this.
They should also like 100. You know, same patch by the way. The enforcer bug. They have to let people know about stuff like that, right? Like
I think there should be a list online.
The lowest damage, not the highest damage.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm playing 4 enforcers, and it says this, but it does this, and I have no way of telling until I actually play it and get fucked. You know, that's something that you would probably want to let people know about before they, you know, they get fucked.
Which in all fairness, like the TFT community in general is good at like pointing out on Twitter and stuff like the bigger, more impactful bugs, like that socialite bug. Like it was, as soon as someone figured it out, it went rampant that this is a bug that exists. But and to some extent, like some bug like that, like abuse it on ladder however the fuck much you want. If you find a bug like that before everyone else, and it's not something where it's like, oh, now I can see my opponent's shops because I did this really random fucking exploit. Like, okay, that gets iffy, but if it's something like that can give you an advantage and all you're getting is LP, fucking whatever. It's a number on the screen. Get that number on the screen. But when you have something like qualification towards a different tourney or money on the line, it should definitely be given to players and be fully transparent. This is what exists. This is what you cannot do.
Agreed. On that note, I think that is going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening, watching. Make sure to like on YouTube, subscribe, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow. Is it follow? I always mess this up. Follow on Spotify.
Follow on Spotify and Twitter. If there's
hit the button that makes
a box,
get updated.
And press enter.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Aesah, for joining us. That was amazing. Great guest.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun.
Of course. Thank you, Jirachy and RamKev, for being great co-hosts as always. Thank you, Mateo, for being our producer as always. And we will see everyone next time.
Wait, real quick PSA before we go. I'm gonna keep on doing this until she gets buffed. Don't put items on Jinx.
I tried to put items on Jinx today.
Yeah, I got second. It was really sad. They were good.
Don't put items on Jinx.
Either way,
it was really
have a good
sad.
night or morning.
Good night.
And thank you for watching and listening. Bye bye.
Peace.
Peace ahoy.